In today's video, I wanted to continue my journey through the main storyline featured in Fable 2. Last time, the adventure had just begun. I started out as a young boy in the city of Bowerstone. Together with my sister Rose, we survived on the streets of Old Town. After meeting a stranger named Teresa, we were convinced to purchase a magical box. Cranking the handle and making a wish, it ended up coming true. Lord Lucian summoned us to Castle Fairfax. While inside, Lucian made a step on some sort of magical circle. It started glowing blue, and when Lucian came to touch it, the color switched to red. Lucian flew into a frenzy and started rambling about this fourth hero. In a fit of desperation, he shot both me and my sister. Luckily, little Sparrow ended up surviving. Teresa found me in the streets and nursed me back to health. After 10 years have gone by, it's finally time to get back out there and enact my revenge. The journey started with some exploration. Teresa had me venture inside of an old tomb. This is where I learned of my destiny. Sparrow comes from a line of old heroes. Heroes who have immense strength and powerful abilities. My goal of revenge turned into something far greater. It's no longer about getting justice for Rose. It's about saving all of Albion. Lucian has begun reconstructing the Spire, a piece of ancient technology from the Old Kingdom that's capable of wiping out an entire nation. In order to finish his work, he needs the help of 3 heroes. Sparrow is the 4th hero, but according to the fate of cards, his destiny is to stop Lucian. In order to get revenge, I need to find all 3 heroes before he does, and the first one is the Pilgrim. This is where the story continues. Traveling back to Oakfield, I ran back up the path towards the Temple of Light and spoke with the abbot.
It's you. I prayed for your return. I heard what you did in Rookridge. I think you could be of great use to us. Come, walk with me a while. Now, nourishing the golden acorn is done with holy water from the wellspring of light. But the spring is located in a nearby cave, which is said to be quite dangerous. Our sacred text says 2 monks must enter this cave, the strongest and a second of the abbot's choosing. Obviously this concerns me, especially since the strongest monk here is my own child. So instead of a second monk, I have chosen to send a protector for the first. And that's you, if you're interested. The cave is just at the end of this road.
So it seems as though this Pilgrim, the first hero, is actually the daughter of the abbot. That's more than likely why Teresa had said vision about the abbot and why he's so protective over this first monk.
Ah, I knew my lovely singing voice would bring the crowds. So you're my escort then? My father said you'd be coming by. Hey there, boy. Hello. Oh, you're a strong, handsome fellow, aren't you? I feel better having you with me in that cave. Yes, I will. I'm Sister Hannah. Some people call me Hammer when they think they're being clever. They're not. But I can't do much about it because monks make a solemn vow never to bash anyone's face in. Did my father mention that? Yeah. Whatever fighting's to be done in there, it's all yours.
We require a hero, not a pacifist monk. We'll need her to find a reason to fight.
Sister Hannah, or Hammer, talks a lot during this portion. Like, a lot. But she does provide something of a comforting element. If anything, she almost acts more like the player than Sparrow does. Hammer asks a lot of great questions, calls out the world as she sees it, and connects the dot between a lot of Fable's lore.
Look up there. They're lovely. I think they're called wisps. Souls of the dead who never left this world. It's actually rather sad, isn't it?
Through her dialogue, you learn that Hammer wants to fight. She wants to wield her strength for good. However, she simply can't, and it's all due to the Temple of Light's policies and teachings. And while the abbot is still in charge, there's nothing that Hammer can do about it. So that's why I'm here escorting her through Wellspring Cave. Maybe that's just fate though. and perhaps that's something that we'll be able to change down the line.
Alright, this should be the central chamber. Wow, I've never seen anything like this, ever. Now, according to my father, we need to go through these 3 doors in order to collect the water. Putting weight on the pressure plates will open the doors. This one's the first. There you go.
Behind each gate lies a test trial of sorts. The first one has a room with a long, winding walkway. Above it are the wisps that Hammer called out earlier. However, they aren't doing anything right now, so it seems safe enough. At the end of the walkway is the fountain room. A common theme for these trials is that it's a dual effort from both myself and Hammer. We both need to stand on a pressure plate and let the waters flow. This area is quite simple. The plates are right beside each other, there are no disturbances, and we just have to wait for the percentage to hit 100. Once complete, Hammer and I are ready to move back to the central chamber. If only it were that easy though. Upon stepping foot on the natural bridge, the wisps started to make their move. Dropping to the ground, they formed into an enemy type called Hollow Men. Hollow Men are pretty similar to undead from Fable Anniversary. They're zombie-like enemies, fight using weapons, and can be killed rather easily. Their claim to fame, though, comes from their numbers. Typically, Hollow Men are found in big packs. As for maximum pack size, well, that's something you'll get to see a little further down the line. Once we fought our way back out into the central chamber, it was time to move on through the second gate. This trial is also relatively straightforward. The only thing, though, is that it tests the player's skill and or willpower. While the first chamber could easily be dealt with by melee combat, the same can't quite be said for this one. Hammer's pressure plate is on the main level, while my plate is up above on the platform. In order to efficiently fill the jug, I have to take aim and fire away at the Hollow Men. Certain spells and ranged weapons work pretty well here. For example, it took more than a handful of shots with my rifle to kill a single Hollow Man, but 1 or 2 casts of blades and I was able to carry the fight home.
Should only be 1 room left to go. So we're nearly finished.
That's often the point where the ground falls out from under your feet. Be cautious.
What in the world was that? Are you ready for whatever that was? Where on earth? Hey, come back! Who knows what's on the other side? You think he's all right? Okay, I'm getting worried now. What you got there? Ugh, that is disgusting.
The final trial has us wandering through 2 more rooms. The first ends up being an arena pit of sorts. Waves of Hollow Men spawn in and close in for the attack. While the attention is mostly on me, Hammer can end up catching a few stray swings. Again, with the Hollow Men, it's largely a numbers game. Their goal is to overwhelm me and let off a flurry of attacks. My goal is to spread them out and eliminate them as quickly as possible. After a handful of waves, the final round began. A headless Hollow Man spawned in and aggroed on. This is the final boss of Wellspring Cave, and it's a little tougher than Thag the Bandit. For melee combat, it repeatedly swings its cleavers while it moves forward. If I get in close enough for melee attacks, it lets off this lightning spell. The spell is powerful, and if it lands, it saps up a majority of my health. The safest way to take on the Headless Hollow Man is to fire at it from a distance. Its only counter to that is to move forward and swing its blades. Once the boss was defeated, Hammer and I were able to move on.
This is it. This is the final room. Should be nearly done now. I know I said that before, but hopefully this time it's true. I think that's the last plate over there. Lords of Light, bless this water, that with it we may give rise to new life once more. As new life rises, so shall we.
Sister Hannah.
Brother Robin? What is it?
It's your father, one of Lucian's men. He's holding him hostage at the temple. He's got a gun.
I have to save my father. Come on, we have to get to the temple.
One of Lucien's agents has come to the temple. Go after her.
This is exactly what Teresa and I wanted, for the pilgrim to realize her true potential. However, this isn't how we thought Hammer's rise to power would happen.
Father, are you okay?
He's one of Lucien's men.
You're coming with me, or he dies.
Like hell I am. You let him go before I break you in half. No!
Don't make me kill you too.
Father! I could have stopped him! You idiot! You stupid fool! I could have stopped him before he... I'm sorry, Father. Not that I broke my vow. I'm sorry I didn't break it sooner. I never did fit in at this place. We both knew that. And now I'm making a new vow. Lucien will die for what he did to you. I won't break this one.
Sister Hannah, the blessing.
You do it.
As new life rises, so shall we. As the seed returns to the earth, so do we all.
Is that it then? My father's gone. The Golden Oak is flourishing again. So now life just goes on as before, does it?
The other monks may believe that, but your eyes have been opened.
Where did you come from? Who are you?
Someone who can tell you much about Lucien. Where he is, what his plans are, and how you can gain your revenge. If you will listen.
I want to know everything.
Then come with me, Sister Hannah.
Call me Hammer.
I've taken Hammer to the guild. You've done well, hero. You have gathered the first of the 3 heroes, and we are one step closer to defeating Lucien's plans. It will take some time for Hammer to overcome her grief, and longer to explain her role in Lucien's downfall. Perhaps this would be a good time to upgrade your equipment. I believe there is a sale in Bowerstone. It may well be worth a visit. Come back to the guild when you are ready.
That's 1 hero down and just 2 more to go, but at what cost? Hammer went through the same heartbreak and tragedy that Sparrow once did, the death of their closest loved ones. Similar to my character, she can use that anger and hate to fuel her revenge. While it's probably best she doesn't lose sight of her true self, that's exactly what we need. Teresa and I need for Hammer to become the hero of strength, someone who can break Lord Lucien and the Spire. Speaking of Teresa, as per her request, because that's usually a hint from the game itself, I made sure to visit the market. Buying some consumables and replacing part of my gear, I was ready to return to the guild hall.
There you are. I believe the second of our heroes, the mage, is in Brightwood. There is a powerful will user there called Garth. Do you remember that name? He was there the night Lucien killed Rose.
You didn't tell me that. How are we supposed to trust him?
Garth believed Lucien's interest in the Old Kingdom was purely academic, like his own. And Lucien, for his part, thought Garth was merely a brilliant scholar. When each learned the truth about the other, their partnership ended. Violently. You will find Garth in Brightwood Tower. I have seen a vision of him toiling on some ancient technology there. Surely he intends to stop Lucien. but he cannot do so without help. Go and inform him of our intent.
Garth indeed had a brief appearance at Castle Fairfax all those years ago. He was walking out of Lucien's office as myself and Rose were walking in. I can only wonder if he knew what our fates were, or at least had an inkling. Maybe he knew that the fourth hero would eventually make an appearance, or maybe he didn't. Perhaps that's something that might come up in conversation. The path to Brightwood begins at Bower Lake. Luckily, the connecting point is easily accessible, and it'll only take Sparrow 19 in-game hours to get there.
Someone or something is coming your way. I have never felt anything like it.
The air in Brightwood is different. Teresa's right, something's off here. The atmosphere is tense, and even the bandits seem troubled. Getting past the first couple of gates and approaching the tower, I could hear something gliding through the sky. Looking up, it was unlike anything I had ever seen before. A pillar/obelisk was floating towards Garth's lookout. Upon getting closer, the object stopped and shot the ground with lightning. Then, after a couple of moments, a new enemy type spawned in. Spire Guards. These lackeys are human, but they are way tougher than your average bandit or hollow man. The guards are equipped with cutting-edge armor. It takes more than a few hits to bring them down. At the same time, they fight using razor-sharp swords and aren't afraid to fire their pistols from a distance. There are multiple squadrons stationed throughout Garth's tower, and getting past them isn't an easy feat. After a couple of minutes of back and forth though, I was finally able to reach the mage's quarters.
I'm never going back there. You hear me?
You're wrong!
You think I'm scared of you?
You're a freak! Lucien's failed experiment. Nothing more.
You left too soon, Garth. Lord Lucien's experiment was a radical success. You are coming with me.
There was nothing you could do. That was Lucien's commandant. And apparently he now controls a shard. An old kingdom weapon of great power. Lucien's strength grows ever more formidable, as does his mastery of the spire and its awful machinery. Come back to the guild.
I was so close, but I just couldn't get there in time. While I managed to rescue Hammer, the same couldn't be said for Garth. Now, Lucien and I are even, one hero each. For now, it's back to the drawing board on how to proceed.
Sounds like you could have used my help after all. I knew I should have come.
We cannot allow Lucien to keep Garth. You must get him out of there.
There being the spire? We don't even know what's inside that thing, much less how to get there.
There is one who might know. When Lucien left for the spire, he essentially abandoned his staff. His old butler, Jeeves, now spends his days at the Cow and Corset.
His butler? I bet he saw his fair share of dirty dealings. Well, if it means a trip to the pub, we'll just have to make that sacrifice.
The task requires tact and delicacy, something I believe you're unfamiliar with, Hammer. Why are you staring at me?
This is the part where you say no offense?
A reunion with Jeeves could be exactly what I'm looking for. Even if Jeeves wasn't aware of what Lucien had in store for Rose and I, he still played a part in her murder. While I might not be able to take out my anger and frustrations on him, he can at least make amends and help me bring down his former master. As pointed out by Teresa, Jeeves spends his days at the Cow and Corset. His current lifestyle is definitely a far cry off from what it used to be.
So, for 1,000 I could buy a house and... Where does one even find concubines? Is there a concubine shop? I see you. Well, well, well. Another offer. Dear me, so many inquisitive minds. So many who wish to know all Lucien's dirty little secrets. Well, everything you want to know is all written down, and I know where. And here's something else that's written down. My price. Don't let anyone else see it.
It seems that Lucien's retainer has grown greedy, yet we need that information. It's time for you to earn some money, by whatever means you can. Your map will guide you in your search.
1,000 gold is no small fee, but at this point in the game and with what's around, it's not very difficult to attain. There's plenty of work as well as quests. I already had 404 gold coins saved up, so 596 more should be a breeze. At first, I wanted to embark on another contract for the Assassination Society. Last time, they paid me out 900 gold, which would be more than enough. However, it seems as though the work's gone dry with them, at least for now. So, I spent my time trying out a new trade, bartending. This minigame is a lot faster than blacksmithing. I had to pour drinks for customers, and every drink would net me some gold. All it took was waiting for the bar to turn green, and then tapping A at the precise moment. In the beginning, it didn't pay much, but as the multipliers and promotions set in, the job became more fruitful. Before long, I had my payment ready and promptly returned to Jeeves.
You have the money? My thanks. It's a juicy little collection. I assure you, you won't regret it. I buried Lucian's diary for safekeeping. This is the map to its location. I would show you where it is myself, but I've got some money to spend.
He's far too cowardly to double-cross you. The map will lead you to the diaries.
Following the Golden Trail, I was led back out into Bower Lake and close to the Cullis Gate. At first, I couldn't quite remember what this quest entailed. However, when I got to the dig site, it hit me like a ton of bricks. There's an out-of-place, large crater in the ground. Upon getting close to it, one of Albion's fiercest enemies spawned in, the Forest Troll. It's the weakest of its kin, but it still packs a heavy punch. For those who are familiar with Fable Anniversary, trolls can be very deadly opponents. They have quite a lot of health, and their weapon arsenal is vast. Ground pounds, rock trails, and boulder tosses. In Anniversary, the hero of Oakvale simply had to make contact with the troll, attacking it directly via melee, will, or skill. However, trolls work a little differently in Fable 2. They're defeated by destroying their nerve endings, or tendrils. These tendrils are visible all over their body and often requires the player to move around the battlefield. In my opinion, trolls are easier to beat in Fable 2 than they are in Anniversary. Or rather, it's a lower floor, higher ceiling type of scenario. A lesser experienced hero could easily dispatch a troll in Fable 2, but a more experienced hero could wipe the floor with a troll quicker in Fable Anniversary. In any case, once the beast was defeated, I pulled out my spade and began digging in the crater. Before long, I reached Lucian's diary. However, it was illegible to Sparrow and most others in Albion. Luckily, Teresa said she could likely translate it, and together we could learn of Lucian's secrets.
Welcome back. I trust finding the diary was not too difficult. Now, bring it to me. I will translate it for you.
You can read that, but your eyes are, you know.
I see other worlds than this one.
And in other worlds you can see. I don't understand.
Shh. Westcliff. Lucian is recruiting guards from Westcliff.
Oh, come on. Westcliff's a dump, full of brawlers and thugs. The only thing there's that arena.
The crucible. Those who win it are physically tough and mentally weak. Lucian is recruiting the winners as guards. You must enter the crucible in Westcliff and emerge from it victorious. It is the only way into the spire, the only way to get to Garth and rescue him.
At last, some action.
Hindsight is always 20/20, but before leaving for Westcliff, I probably should have stocked up on more consumables. At the time, I wasn't aware of how dangerous the trek was going to be, nor what horrors lay ahead. The journey started off in Brightwood. The atmosphere was definitely a lot friendlier, at least compared to before. While the roads here still had their fair share of hobs and beetles, guards patrolled the paths and traders wandered freely. The sun was shining and the game masters were wheeling and dealing. It was a sign of more peaceful times. After a bit of running, I finally caught up to Hammer, who was waiting for me by the access point.
What, did you get a job? Buy a house? I've been here for ages. Right, let's go.
From Brightwood, Hammer and I made our way to the Bandit Coast. This place is exactly as it sounds. After traveling a small distance, we'd end up running into groups of ruffians. Hammer makes a comment that the area seems abandoned. While it's not really true and most of the thugs are waiting to ambush us, one thing's for sure, Lucian's been hard at work with recruitment. As Teresa put it before, those with brawn and metal go to fight in the crucible. Those lacking in brains are who Lucian picks as his spire guard. The bandits along the coast and any in Westcliff will have made their way to the crucible and tried their luck. The survivors move on to what they think is a grander life, a life filled with potential, spoils, and opportunity. However, as we may or may not come to see, life in the Spire is filled with torture and injustice. Left behind in these parts of Albion are those who would rather lead a simple life of crime and mayhem. Although, there may be another reason for the lack of numbers in Bandit Coast. The next area over is where the aforementioned horrors of Fable reside. They could be the reason for almost any disappearances in the land. But first, Sparrow and Hammer have to get through these parts, and I don't want to get ahead of myself.
This must be the infamous barricade. Doesn't look that tough.
Boss, we can't stop them. They're still coming. Stand and fight, you cowardly knaves.
This is where Sparrow gets introduced to the bandit highwaymen. They're a lot tougher than their regular ruffian counterpart. They're incredibly agile, have a lot more health, block better, and can deal more damage with a single swing. As you'll soon come to see, the highwaymen will have a larger presence in Albion, at least for a certain portion of the game, which is coming soon. Regardless, once this bandit camp was defeated, Hammer and I were finally able to reach Westcliff's access point.
I've heard a lot of stories about Westcliff. The place is supposed to be infested with Balverines. I heard this one story about these traders who got attacked. Balverines killed both parents, but the kids survived. A slaver found the poor things, took them back to his camp and locked them up in a cage. That night the kids turned, broke out of the cage and ripped every slaver in the camp to shreds. It makes you think, doesn't it?
Right by the entrance of Westcliff is a brand new sword, one that's more powerful than the hammer I recently purchased. If that isn't a hint from the game, then I don't know what is. Running down the pathway, it didn't take long for us to run into one of, if not the most fearsome creature in all of Albion, the Balverine. It's also that horror of Fable that I was just talking about. Balverines are like Fable's werewolves. Those bitten by these beasts get turned into one. From there, they show off the exact same behaviors: aggression, primal instincts, and a hunger for human flesh. They are incredibly quick, can leap great distances, have a plethora of health, and have ferocious attacks. For the Balverines, I found it easier to single one of them out and then to spam melee attacks until it died. Otherwise, the pair would be able to juggle Sparrow using their claw attacks.
Someone's in trouble. We've got to help her, come on.
Balverines attacked us. They killed my husband. They killed my Frederick.
It's all right, you're safe with us.
They took my son.
Can you show us where they took him?
I think so. Oh, my poor Robert. What if they've already...
I'm sure your son is all right. We'll find him.
From here, the adventure through a Balverine-infested Westcliff continues. Pairs of the beasts continue to descend at certain milestones along the road. For the most part, it's just myself getting good licks in. Hammer takes her time approaching the enemies, and it takes her even longer to wind up a swing. Eventually, the trio make it to some old ruins. Looking up, there's a whole pack of Balverines just waiting and watching.
Why aren't they attacking us?
This is where they took him.
Running into the ruins, the Balverines are still passive. As for the trail, it abruptly gets cut off at the keep's entrance. The dungeon is called the Howling Halls, and it seems to be the only way through.
You won't let anything happen to him, will you? You'll save him.
Just don't get too far ahead. You need to stay with us.
Oh, but my poor little Robert.
I know, but you won't be able to help him if you get eaten, will you? Who knows what's waiting for us down here? We've got to be careful. Why the road has to go through a place like this is beyond me. Couldn't they have cut down a few trees instead? Children!
I bring you
What is this place? There's nothing good, we can be sure of that.
As Lilith leaps away, this whole thing is revealed to be a setup. We were led straight into the lion's den, a trap. The battlefield is littered with the remains of lost travelers and innocent merchants, showing that the scheme has worked time and time again. All Hammer and I could do right now is fight for our lives. While the scenario seems bad, the fighting is actually a little better in here than it was out there. The Balverines are still coming out in pairs, so the brawls are still manageable. The battlefield is bigger. I feel like it's easier to move around and I can efficiently dodge all incoming attacks. As for Hammer, this time she's glued to one area as opposed to 10 steps behind me. She put in her fair share of effort and even distracted a couple of them.
Gotta find a way out of here or we're dead!
She's right. Show no mercy and get out of that place quickly.
But I can't see any way across that pit. There must be something we can do.
After defeating one more pair, I ran over to the other end of the chamber and had a look around. Our path to the other side was blocked by a spike pit, and things were looking grim. But then I remembered that I'm traveling with Superwoman herself. Eyeing a nearby pillar, Hammer gets clued in and comes running over. As she begins to knock it down, the alpha of the pack descends to our level. Lilith herself has come to finish the job. Lilith is essentially a white Balverine. For those who remember them from Fable Anniversary, they're a more ferocious and powerful breed of the beast. According to Fable's wiki, white Balverines were turned on a full moon, whereas their lesser kin would have been turned on any other night. Because of this small difference in timing, they were gifted, or cursed, with a stronger set of powers. They're bigger, faster, and stronger. They can change back to their human form at will and are capable of speaking. Their biggest weakness is silver, which can come in the form of weapon augmentations. However, as just displayed, it's not necessary for killing them. Once our immediate attackers were defeated, Hammer and I bolted out of the Howling Halls and emerged back out into Westcliff.
We made it! I don't think they'll follow us into the light.
Many die in their attempt to defeat the crucible. But defeat it you must if you're to have any hope of joining Lucian's army and getting to Garth.
Conveniently, we were spat out right in front of the crucible, our desired destination for this journey. Just before its great gates was the Westcliff camp. This is where all of Albion's top contenders train, rest, and network before risking it all in the arena. It's also where the spectators can grab an ale, some food, and chat with the combatants. You'll see bandits, commoners, game masters, traders, everyone from all different walks of life, yet everybody's cooperative. Wasting no time, Hammer and I ran up to the gates and spoke with the attendants.
Look, Murray, another pair of nobodies trying to get into the crucible. Doesn't anybody know you've got to be famous to fight here?
Terribly sorry, but I'm afraid this is a rather brutal business. And it's not just the blood-spurting decapitations. People only pay to see the big names, like Willie Widowmaker or Vice Grip Sally.
Not a bunch of unknowns.
Oh yeah? Well, what's your name?
Me? Everyone knows me. I'm Mad Dog the Strangler McGraw.
Best crucible fighter there was back in his day.
Bit redundant, isn't it?
What? What do you mean?
Well, why do you need the strangler part if you're already a mad dog?
Well, it's intimidating, innit?
Seems confusing to me.
Look, if you really want to compete, go and make a name for yourself so the crowd will actually give a flying...
Luck. That's all you need. A bit of luck, and you'll be famous in no...
Fine. Just come back when you're a somebody and we'll let you in.
How about we come back when you learn some manners?
Hey! Nobody tells Mad Dog how to behave. You can stay out for good, Tubby.
An impressive display, Hammer. You have managed to alienate the very men whose favor we need.
Only one of them.
Hero, you must find a way to impress those men, and you must do it alone. There are still many people in the world whom you could help or harm. Whether you do good or evil, your reputation will be made.
It's once again time to build up my fame, embarking on quests around Albion in exchange for renown points. This time I need 998 more, racking up a total of 2,500 for the crucible. The difference right now though is that there are actually quite a lot of quests available, and most of them offer a ludicrous amount of renown. The first one I went for is called Red Harvest. It actually has me working with a bunch of bandits, and it'll help me further my evil/corrupt alignment. In order to begin, I was brought over to Arthur in the Bowerstone Market.
Well, fancy running into you down here. How you settling in? As you can see, I found myself a new place of business. Little out of the way, I grant you. But we're an exclusive agency. Well, I got a new proposition for you. These friends of mine, fine fellas to the last, they've fallen into a touch of vexation during a routine commercial transaction. You know how it is. Certain commodity needs to be got hold of, and the proprietor is, shall we say, disinclined to flog it off to said gentleman. Well, you restrict trading like that, the whole economy collapses. So we're going to have to nick it. The Mark is a farmer in Brightwood. He used to be a guard, so we could use someone like you. What do you say? Terrific. Now, my boys are a touch wary of strangers. Professional hazard. So when you get to their camp, you'll need to whistle 3 times. Off you go then.
Traveling to Brightwood, the trek to the bandit camp was quite brief. Upon arrival, I did as instructed and sent the signal.
Pretty quiet, eh? Anyone got any cards? 1, 2, and that was 3, wasn't it? Yeah. Time to jump? I don't know. It's pretty high.
Good. About time Arthur sent us a competent grafter. Call me Ripper. That weasel told you what we're after, right? The farmer's name is Giles. Spent 30 years on patrol before he packed it in for a life of soil bothering. Thing is, he's got a little item tucked away in his basement we'd really like to get our hands on. Just don't try getting it yourself, you hear?
Damn it, Ripper! I told you I'd get it! Just need a little more time is all!
You lost what? 3 men last week? Another 2 this week? You're building yourself a nice little graveyard.
I got the wife, didn't I?
Yeah, that really helped us out, even. Now he's got an army of his pig pals to protect the farm. Probably getting ready to hunt us down, too.
And you think this hood can take them all on?
I've got a feeling our new friend will succeed. Or die trying.
One can hope. Listen, if you try taking the stuff in the basement for yourself, we'll kill you ourselves.
Giles's farm is just down the road. Unfortunately, the bandits don't accompany me there, nor do they help me out at all during this quest. Upon arrival, I was immediately aggroed onto by 10 or so guards, one of them being Giles. The guards were most certainly tough opponents. They had the strength of bandit highwaymen as well as the health. They took quite a lot of hits to bring down, and any of them who weren't engaged in melee combat took pot shots from the backline. However, what they didn't quite have was the agility. They were slow and stiff. They were usually vulnerable and would die to flurries of spam attacks. Before long, I found myself facing down Farmer Giles, and after defeating him, the quest was technically over. I received my 750 renown and was free to leave. Even so, I wanted to finish the job completely, receive my evil points, and take a look at what was in that cellar. Upon going down there and opening one of the chests, I stumbled across Giles's manuscript, no doubt the item that Ripper coveted.
You just had to go and find out what it was, didn't you?
Told you we couldn't trust him.
No, but we can certainly kill him.
That's all you had to say.
Ripper and his men weren't that difficult to defeat. The big boss himself had a fair amount of health, but a knockdown and a finisher move did the trick. While it felt like this quest was only just beginning, I moved on from this story in search of more renown. The next side quest I did was called the Summoners. The quest givers were located in Old Town, and their names were Max and Sam.
It was your fault. You're the one who found it.
You're the one who read the words. It's your fault.
You're the one who said I was a chicken because I wouldn't read it in the first place.
Yes, but you're the one who... Hey, look!
You have to help us!
He raised the dead!
Mother will kill us if she finds out.
You see, we read aloud from this book we found called the Normanomicon.
You're the one who found it, remember?
Yeah, and you're the one who read...
The thing is,
never mind.
we sort of
the thing is,
accidentally summoned a few hollow men.
A few hundred.
And now they have the book.
Only because you dropped it, you big girl.
Please.
You need to clear the graveyard so we can get the book back and put them all back where they came from.
The Summoners is a pretty straightforward quest. Basically, all I have to do is run around the graveyard and defeat 100 Hollow Men. The Hollow Men spawn in at different points throughout the area, and they come in at packs of 20. Before, I mentioned that their groupings could get pretty large, and while this may or may not be the maximum size, it's definitely up there. The task at hand though is pretty easy, as the Hollow Men die in a matter of 2 swings, so really, this quest feels more like a beat 'em up. It's a great way to farm XP, it's a neutral alignment, and when all is said and done, it gives me 250 Renown. After the enemies are gone for good, I'm able to retrieve the Normanomicon and return it to Sam.
Right. What page was the undo spell on? Oh, here we are. Tantir, Barada, Kanda!
Mukluk! What?
That's it. Almost everyone in Westcliff has heard about you, for better or worse. Now you can go back to the Crucible Gatekeepers.
Look who it is! A Crucible contender if ever I saw one.
Been causing quite a commotion, haven't you? Everyone knows who you are.
Why, there hasn't been so much buzz about a competitor since... Knockout Nora. Remember her, Mad Dog? Oh...
Yeah, point is, you've earned your place in the Crucible's parade of almost certain death.
She could have knocked me out any time, that Nora. Whatever became of her.
Anyway, make sure you're properly kitted out before you go in. The crowd gets ever so upset when our fighters die too quickly.
But if you live, you become a legend, and you'll be a shoo-in to join Lucian's army. I don't think any winners have turned that opportunity down yet. Private sector security work is very lucrative, I hear.
Right, no dogs allowed inside. Health and safety, you understand.
It's finally time to step into the Crucible. It's the next stage to rescuing Garth at the Spire and a stepping stone towards revenge. While by now it's probably obvious, for those who don't know, the Crucible is pretty much like the arena from Fable Anniversary. I step into the fighting grounds and have to endure 3 waves of enemies. There are 8 rounds in total, and each round brings on a new enemy type. The idea is that my opponents get tougher and tougher with each new stage. The fighting can be quite challenging, but there are a lot of other rewards here too besides just joining Lucian's army. There are riches, fame, and above all else, a boatload of experience. Stepping into the first round, it's a pretty easy one, and again, mirrors the original arena. Here, I have to face off against giant beetles. They aren't anything special. In fact, they shouldn't be, as they're supposed to be the easiest opponents. It doesn't take long for me to wipe out all 3 waves. Now, there are a couple of interesting gimmicks to the Crucible. Firstly, the audience, or anyone really, might be inclined to chuck some money into the arena. It's an easy way to make a little extra gold. The coin purses add up and definitely come in handy in just a bit. Next, there's the target time. That's how quickly the game wants you to clear through the round. In my experience, sometimes the target time is easily met, and at other times I'm way over. It really depends on the enemy typing. In any case, successfully completing the round before the timer hits the target time grants you a perfect round. Enough perfect rounds will get you some interesting prizes and XP bonuses. Speaking of which, lastly, there's the excitement meter. Before, I mentioned that you can get a lot of experience points from the Crucible. This isn't just through the sheer number of enemies you face, it's also through the excitement meter. Defeating enemies in a timely manner, keeping the attacks flowing, and just putting on a good show affect the multiplier. This multiplier directly influences your XP intake. So, receiving 5k worth of XP orbs can easily become 15k, 20k, or even 25k. Beyond those fun and interesting gimmicks, The name of the game here is survival. If you didn't stock up on supplies and consumables, much like myself, there are trader rooms that can bring you that relief. After round 3 is complete, there's a traveling trader who waits for Sparrow in the tunnel. He has everything from weapons all the way to potions. For what's to come, it's definitely best to stock up here. However, round 4 continues to offer a little bit more relief to the player. While rounds 2 and 3 had me dealing with hobs, 4 is all about hollow men. The first round is nothing more than a beat 'em up. 2 slashes with my steel cutlass and the zombies drop dead, or rather, continue to be dead. The second wave was pretty much the same, except this time some beefier wisps were brought in. They're noticeably bulkier than the other hollow men and take way more hits to defeat. However, they move just as slow and take just as long to attack. The third round had me facing off against a large group of just the tankier hollow men. At first, it seemed rather daunting, but after hitting them with flourish attacks and controlling the crowd, things were smooth sailing. Round 5 is where the fighting got a lot more challenging. Here, I was facing off against bandits. The scene had me standing on a platform while my opponents were directly across. They stood on a wooden bridge and fired their rifles. While will and skill weren't a necessity for this one, I could tell the game was nudging me in that direction. Wave 2 is where the bandit chieftains started appearing. They had the same toughness and appearance as Thag from the Bower Lake bandit camp. Wave 3 had me taking on all chieftains, and it certainly wasn't a walk in the park. This round had me going way over the target time. I ended up sapping up quite a few health potions too, but certainly not as many as round 6. Round 6 was by far the biggest pain in the neck. This one had me battling against regular bandits and bandit highwaymen. The arena itself was one giant walkway. Below it was the glowing abyss. On the outskirts of the platform, bandits were firing their rifles, taking pot shots from all sorts of different angles. Most of those bullets hit, and they managed to shred through my health on numerous occasions. The one thing that worked to my advantage here though was the environment. It didn't always work, but on occasion, I was able to kick a bandit down into the void. This obviously skirted most of the confrontation and sped things up a little bit. Not by much though, as you'll soon come to see, round 6 took me a whopping 4 minutes and 40 seconds to complete. While I took a beating there, I'd argue that the bandit portion of the crucible, at least from my experience, was the hardest segment. Up next was a second trader room. Here, I could spend my hard-earned gold on more consumables as well as weapon upgrades. Following this was round 7. Here, I had to face off against Balverines. Believe it or not, this ended up being relatively easy, at least compared to what I had already gone through. The Balverines came out in groups of 3. Even though my kit was largely the same as what I had in the Howling Halls, one thing was different here: my upgrades. I poured a lot of XP into brutal styles and physique. This allowed me to attack the Balverines with all new movesets and damage outputs. Focusing one at a time and keeping my distance from the other two, things were working out pretty well. For the third round, I only had to face off against 2 enemies, but one of them was a white Balverine. As intimidating as they are, they do have an exploitable weakness. While they go for their Fury Swipes attack, they can be baited into a corner and repeatedly hit over and over. This is because they have a flinch animation which stun locks them for half a second. Before long, I hit a perfect round and was off to the final room. Round 8 had me facing off against a rock troll. Its fighting mechanics are identical to the forest troll from earlier. The aim is to attack its tendrils. This is efficiently done through ranged attacks, working my way around the area, dodging its boulders, and finding openings. Periodically, hobs would spawn in and serve as a small distraction. This is likely meant to spice things up. As I mentioned before, trolls in Fable 2 aren't quite like their anniversary counterparts. But the hobs are only so strong, and they could only keep me at bay for so long.
Unbelievable! Incredible! It's an extraordinary superhuman feat of inconceivable proportions! Unprecedented, some might say, if they were unaware of the precedents.
He's as worthy a competitor as ever competed in this competition.
Indeed! All that remains is to congratulate our glorious winner. We hope you've enjoyed this most bloody and most compelling of Crucible editions. Fare thee well, gentle spectators, until the next time.
With the fame, glory, and riches now in my back pocket, it's time to continue with Garth's rescue.
Oh, congratulations! 3 cheers for the new Crucible champion!
That was something else. Best crucible in years.
A classic performance that will be remembered for all time.
That was fantastic. I listened to the commentaries every step of the way. I even got in to see a few rounds. That one with the hobs, bloody brilliant. Really makes me want to have a go myself. Yeah, all right. Don't get a big head. You won't fit in the boat.
Well done. Not many make it through the crucible alive.
Yes! Yes!
The spire's not going to be much of a laugh either. You should take some time out before you go. Anybody you want to see or anything, now's the time. Anyway, I'll make my way to the docks. So you know where to find me when you're all set to go?
Hammer has a good point. Once you are in the spire, leaving will be difficult. And there are those who still need your help on these shores. If you abandon them now, they will surely come to harm. Do not get on that ship until you are truly ready to leave your quests behind. Garth isn't going anywhere.
Now comes the true point of no return. Again, the game has a great way of foreshadowing future events and giving subtle warnings to the player. While there are a lot of interesting and unique side quests in this game, this story is about the main questline, and the show must go on.